Hello CraftDee Family, and welcome to another tutorial by She's So Crafty. For today's DIY project, we'll be creating 3 Christmas and holiday themed DIYs using the gray and white microfiber mop heads at the Dollar Tree. Now these mop heads are really great to craft with, and I'm going to be incorporating them into these projects to decorate for the holidays. Now I will provide you with detailed step-by-step instructions, and I also provided the list of supplies and tools I use to make these projects, and they're in the description box below. Now I am so happy to share this tutorial with you, but before we start, I wanted to say hey, and welcome back to my amazing subscribers and visitors to my channel. Now if you are a new visitor to my channel today, and you love to create fun and easy DIY projects on a budget, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also click that notification bell so you will be the first to know when a new DIY tutorial is ready to share with you. So now let's get started. So if you've been following me for a while, you would remember this Mophead Snowman that I made last year. Now I had so much fun creating him, and I wanted to use these mop heads again to add more holiday items to my decor. Now I'll link the tutorial for this handsome guy in the upper right hand corner of this video, and also in the description box below so you can check him out after this video. Now our first project today will be a jumping deer. Now for this project, you'll need half of one of these microfiber mop heads from the Dollar Tree. You'll also need this holiday glitter deer from the Dollar Tree. Now the first thing we're going to do is to take our deer, and we want to make sure we remove all of the tags and labels. Now I need my deer to have a white background, and you can remove the glitter, but it's kind of messy, so I'm just going to simply seal it up with a coat of white acrylic paint. Now all you want to do is paint the entire body of the deer with the paint, and we want to make sure we leave those antlers silver. Now once this side dries, we're just going to flip it over and we're going to paint the body on the back as well. Now when both sides dry, I'm going to cover the antlers with a coat of this Mod Podge to stop the glitter shed. And oops, I did pour a little too much, but that's okay. Just apply a coat to the front and the back of the antlers and let them dry completely. Now while that dries, go ahead and grab your mop head, and what we're going to do is prepare it for use. Now you just want to remove it from all of the packaging, and you want to start to separate the strands at the bottom middle so you can see this black clasp in the middle. Now there are 2 plastic connections holding this mop head in place, and we just want to take a pair of wire clippers and snip them on each side. Once that's removed, your fibers are now free, and you can just detangle and separate them into each strand. Now my mop head ended up having 3 strands, but I have seen them with 2 or even 4 strands. Now here is the barcode in case you need to look these up. Now that our deer is dry, I'm just going to grab my Surebonder silicone mat, and I'm going to prepare to cover the deer. Now what we want to do is to start in the middle of the deer, adding our strands, and we want to make sure it's a straight line. Now to make sure I don't get off track, I just went back and I made several vertical lines on my deer with a pencil just to make sure my strands are going to be applied nice and straight. So now we can start applying the strands in the middle, and I cut a piece down to size, and I'm going to leave some overlap on the top and the bottom so I can overlap it to the back. And then we're just going to continue to add those strands from the middle and work your way out. Now here is my progress so far. Now as you get closer to the ends, you want to add a piece of the strand in shorter pieces so it'll look more cohesive. And now our deer is all covered. Now we just want to flip it over, and we want to take those edges and we're going to secure them to the back of the deer. And all we want to do is apply a little bit of hot glue under each strand and then smooth it into place. Now you do want to occasionally flip it over to make sure everything looks nice and even. So then you just want to go ahead and finish up the rest of the securing of those loose pieces. Now you can just wrap this mop head around in one piece, but I think that doing individual strands helps with the alignment, and it also uses less of the mop head. So now that our deer is all covered, we just want to trim down the fuzz on the mop head at the deer's head, and now that is ready to go. So now what we're going to do is cover the back, and I'll be just using craft paper for this. So I'm just going to lay my deer on top and then cut a piece down to size. Now I'm going to start adding hot glue to my deer, and I want to start at the head and neck area at first, and then I want to flip it over and press it on to that craft paper. And once that's in place, just complete adhering the rest of the deer to the paper in sections until the back is covered completely. And once everything is done, we can go ahead and take our X-Acto knife, and what I want to do is just trim off the excess paper around the deer. And now here's our deer, and the back is neatly covered. So now we can start embellishing our deer, and I will be using this checkered ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to cut a piece, and I'm going to use this to tie a bow around the base of the deer's neck. And then we can start adding some greenery, and I'm going to use some pieces of berry and holly from my stash. We just want to go ahead and bundle these up together and then trim them down to fit. Now once we add that to the bundle, we can go ahead and also trim down the bow to our liking. And then just add a dab of that hot glue to secure the greenery into place. And now it's all decorated for the holiday. Now to hang this lightweight piece, just add some hot glue to a piece of jute string with knotted ends, and you are all done and ready to hang. And here it is. You can hang this deer up on display. How cute is he? Now I just love the marbled look of the mop head fibers on this, and it really turned out great. And adding this little bow and a small bundle of holiday berries and greenery really adds the perfect touch. Now if you can't find the mop heads, you can try this with chunky yarn, a nautical rope, or any other string fibers of your choice. Just have fun with it. Now the second project is a candy cane wreath. Now for this project, we'll need one full microfiber mop head from the Dollar Tree, and we'll need one candy cane shaped wreath from the Dollar Tree. Now the first thing we're going to do is to prep the mop head just like we did before, and this one resulted in 4 strands. So we're going to be wrapping the strands around the candy cane form, and we just want to start by tying the end of the strand to the end of the form. Now I'm just going to wrap the strand around snug around the form. Now I like to wrap a few rounds and then kind of push the strands closely together to make sure that there are no gaps. Now once that first strand runs out, you just tie on the next one, and you just tie it in a double knot and trim down the tails. And once that's secure, just keep wrapping around until you need to tie on the remaining strands. Now once you get to the end, you just want to tie the end of your strand to the candy cane form and then tuck those tails right in. Now the only place that I will use hot glue on this is the ends of the cane, and I'm just going to add it to the edge and then press that last strand into place. So now we can decorate our wreath. So I'm going to gather up some floral picks and greenery to decorate. Now to secure these, I will cut a piece of jute string and I'll place it underneath the wreath to secure them. So we're going to start by arranging the decorations right on top of that wreath and just arrange them however you like. Now once everything looks good, you can go ahead and tie everything together with that piece of jute string. And then we're going to cut off the ends of that jute string and we're going to cover up this tie with that ribbon, and we're just going to tie it around the wreath in a bow. And now you have finished this super easy project. And check it out. I mean, who would ever know that this beautiful wreath was made with a mop head? Now the detail in these fibers looks so great on this form, and I absolutely love how it turned out. And since the greenery bundle is just tied on, you can swap it out for different colors during your holiday season. Now I think that this would even look great with 2 canes crossed with a large bundle in the middle. You guys have to let me know what you think about this project in the comments below. Now the third project is a set of Christmas trees. Now for this project, we'll need the other half of the mop heads used in our first DIY. We'll also need some leftover foam board scraps from the Dollar Tree. And we'll also be using some tumbling tower blocks from the Dollar Tree. Now the first thing we're going to do is to take that foam board, and we want to just draw out some triangle shapes. So I'm just going to take my ruler and I'm just going to eyeball the size and the shape. So just have fun with it, and you can make your shapes however you like. Now I chose to do graduated shapes with a taller, middle, and smaller tree. Now this is a good reason to keep all of those scraps. You never know what you can use them for. Now once all of your shapes are drawn, you just want to take your ruler and X-Acto knife, and you want to carefully cut out all of your shapes. So now all 3 of our triangles are ready to be turned into Christmas trees. So I'm going to lay them out and grab those mop head strands, and I'm going to start with my tallest tree. Now for this one, I wanted to lay the strands at an angle along the edge of the triangle, so I'm just going to apply some hot glue down the edge and then start laying those strands into place. And then I'm just going to continue adding the following pieces in the same pattern at the same angle. Now that the front is all covered, we can add a piece to that exposed edge on the side where we started, and we're just going to add hot glue to the edge and press a piece into place. So now we're going to flip it over, and we're going to secure those end pieces the same way we did for our jumping deer. So now we're going to move on to the smaller tree, and I'm just going to add them in a simple horizontal pattern and then secure them on the back as well. Now for my medium tree, I'm going to try out a chevron type of pattern, and I want to just draw a chevron shape with my hot glue. And then I'm going to start to add that mop head string in a chevron pattern. And I'm just going to repeat this for the entire tree. Again, this is all experiment and just having fun. You could do whatever pattern that you like. Now here's the front done, and we're just going to secure the back loose strings. Now once all 3 trees are done, we can just go ahead and add our craft paper backing to seal in all of those raw edges. And here are all 3 trees covered and ready to decorate. Now in order for these to stand on their own, I'm going to be adding some of these tumbling tower blocks to the back for stability. So to back the 2 smaller trees, I'm going to be joining together 6 blocks. Now this will create a platform for the back. Now in order to make this, we're just going to join 3 sets of 2 sticks together and then stack those on top of each other and secure them together. And once we complete this one, we're just going to make a second set of 6 blocks, and then we're going to do a third set with 9 blocks for the largest tree. So now that our pieces are made, we can add them to the back of our trees. So I'm going to take one of those 6 block sets and hot glue it to the back of the smallest tree. And then I'm going to repeat this process for the other 2 trees. So now at the last minute, I decided to add sides to those wood platforms. Now this is in case you wanted to add flat rocks for leverage or a battery tea light to the back of the tree for kind of a backlight effect. Now to make the sides, we're simply going to glue 2 of the blocks together for each side of that platform. And once they're made, we're just going to place hot glue on each one of the pieces and place them on each side of that platform on the back of the trees. Now we're going to repeat this for the remainder of the trees. So now that they're done, we can decorate. So for the tallest tree, I'm going to use this checkered ribbon, and what I want to do is wrap it around the tree in a diagonal pattern. Now I'm going to go ahead and trim it and tape it into place so I can reuse the ribbon, but you can hot glue it if you wish. And for the smallest tree, I'm going to be taking a garland tie, and I'm going to be taking some small red berries and making a small wreath. I'm just twisting the garland tie together, and I'm going to make sure this fits on the tree. So then we can start adding our berries to the wreath, and these are pretty tiny, so I'm using a pair of Dollar Tree tweezers to hot glue these into place so I don't burn my fingers. Now to hang my wreath on the tree, I will use a scrap of that ribbon we used on that larger tree and just loop one end around the wreath and hot glue it into place. And then I'm going to place the other side on the back of the tree and tape it into place. Now for this last tree, I'm just going to add a bow on top from some of that leftover ribbon. And once it's nice and trimmed down, we're just going to add a dot of hot glue to secure it at the top. Now to embellish it, I'm going to use some of this berry garland from the Dollar Tree. Now to apply it, I'm just going to start at the top, and I'm going to go to the back and twist it together to secure it in place, and then just wrap it around the tree in a horizontal pattern. And once it's all wrapped, just go ahead and clip the end, and we can secure it in place. And now that that's done, we're ready to display all of our beautiful trees. And here they are on display. I think that these are super cute and fun. Now these different patterns and textures of the ribbon and the mop head really blend so well, and the mop head makes a great neutral background. And I think the back of these trees provide the perfect platform for flat stones or battery tea lights for a backlit display. Now, however you choose to display these, they are sure to stand out in your decor. Now, I really had an awesome time creating all 3 of these DIYs and the snowman too. You guys be sure to check out that link in the description box below and let me know in the comments which one was your favorite today. Listen, if you love DIYs on a budget, give this video a thumbs up and share this video with your friends. Make sure that you're following She's So CraftDee on Facebook for your latest news, sneak peeks, and giveaways. Thank you so much for visiting and checking out my tutorial today. If you like videos like these and you don't want to miss the next one, make sure you're subscribed and click that subscribe button below. Turn on that notification bell. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.